Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to 𝗥𝗵𝗲 Show. Thank you for always tuning in and being here with us. We enjoy your company, and 80% is showing up to your success. Today, Ria, my co-host, is going to be taking over the conversation. Before she does, before I bring her on, I want to introduce ourselves. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria,
And
and
welcome to
to
our
our
show.
show.
Ria, pass the mic on to you.
Thank you, Alka. And today's topic is the last topic from the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Increase Our Financial IQ. So let me share my screen. All right. So what does it take to be an entrepreneur? This is the last topic from the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Increase Our Financial IQ. So there are two characteristics of entrepreneurs. There are millions of people who dream of quitting their jobs and become entrepreneurs, running their own business. The problem is, for most people, their dream is just a dream. It never becomes a reality. So the question is, why do so many people fail to go for their dream of becoming an entrepreneur? The best answer to this age-old question comes from Robert's friend. Robert's friend says entrepreneurs have two characteristics. The first characteristic is ignorance. The second characteristic is courage. This simple assessment is profound. It explains so much more than just entrepreneurship. It explains why some people are rich and why most others are not. For example, one of the reasons why many A students are not rich is because they may be smart, but they lack courage. So remember the two characteristics, ignorance and courage. So for smart people, they're not ignorant. That's why they're smart. But they lack the courage. So two characteristics, courage and ignorance. Now, there are many people who lack both knowledge and courage. Now, Robert shares a tale of two hairstylists. To talk about this further on the two characteristics, Robert says that he has a friend who is a brilliant hairstylist. When it comes to making women look beautiful, he is a magician. For years, he talked about opening his own salon. So that is his dream. He wants to open his own salon. He has big plans, but sadly, he still remains small. Running a single chair in a large salon, constantly at odds with the owner. Now, let's contrast this to another of Robert's friend, who has a wife who became tired of being a flight attendant. So she used to be a flight attendant. And what happened? Several years after, she quit her job of being a flight attendant and went to school to become a hairstylist. And then according to Robert, a month ago, she had a grand opening for her salon. So she actually made her dream reality. So she is a hairstylist and she opened her salon. She gave up her job as a flight attendant. It is a spectacular environment and she has attracted some of the best hairstylists to work there. So what this flight attendant did was, so she got the license to become a hairstylist. She studied it and then she opened her salon and now she has employees, other hairstylists to work for her. Now contrast that to the other friend of Robert, who was just a hairstylist, but has plans, has dreams of opening her own salon, but never had the courage to do it. So when Robert's older friend heard about her salon, this is the first one, the first hairstylist in the story that had a dream but never had the courage to open her salon. So he told Robert How can she open a salon? The flight attendant, he was referring to the flight attendant. She is the flight attendant, has no talent. The flight attendant is not gifted, not talented, not gifted. The flight attendant was not trained in New York like the other hairstylists. The flight attendant does not have any experience. I give her a year, she's going to fail. That's what the first friend of Robert thinks. And according to Robert, yes, she might fail because statistics show that 90% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. And 90% is a very high number. So if you have 10, 9 of the 10 businesses fail. The point of the story, according to Robert, is the impact of the two characteristics of the entrepreneur, the impact of ignorance and the impact of courage upon our lives. In this example, we have one hairstylist who is gifted but lacks the courage. And the second hairstylist, the one who was a flight attendant, she lacks experience but has the courage to open her salon and take risk and hire other employees. In Robert's opinion, it is the relationship between ignorance and courage that is the essence of life itself. In 1974, Robert did not have a job, did not have money, or much business experience. Robert could not live below his means because, according to him in the book, he did not have any means to live below. Robert could not diversify because Robert had nothing to diversify. So if he risked it, he would not lose a whole lot because he was poor. His means was already low and he had nothing to diversify. So all Robert had was courage. All he had was courage. In the real world, courage is more important than good grades. It takes courage to discover, to develop, to donate your genius to the world, to risk. According to Robert, always remember that our mind is infinite. Our mind is infinite. Think, just like what Napoleon Hill said, think and grow rich. The mind is infinite, and our doubts, fears are limiting. Ayn Rand, who's the author of Atlas Shrugged, said, "Wealth is the product of man's capacity to think." Look, wealth is the product of man's capacity to think. And just like what Napoleon Hill says, think and grow rich. So if you are ready to change your life, find the environment that will allow 3 of your brains, the left brain, the right brain, and the subconscious, to think and grow richer. And who knows, you might find your genius. Now, Robert also talks about the feedback loop. And he says it is that no man is an island. No man is an island. We need each other. And this is the feedback loop where it comes in. So according to Robert, we live in a world of feedback. When we climb on a bath scale and we look at our weight, the weight is giving us a feedback. If the scale says we are 10 pounds heavier and we do not like the feedback, especially if we are 20 pounds overweight, right? So the weight on the scale is telling us something. Feedback is important. Feedback can be a very important source of information about us and about our environment. The problem is, according to Robert, if we do not like the feedback, it's negative and we do not like the feedback, our subconscious mind may block it out, may distort or diminish or deny the importance of the information coming from the feedback. So we block it, right? The defense mechanism, we block it, we distort it, we diminish it, we deny the information. So one of the most enlightening lessons Robert learned from the Marine Corps was the importance of the feedback. When Robert was messing up, feedback was intense and feedback was not sugar-coated. So that should tell us that if we're messing up, then the feedback to us would be intense. The feedback to us will be truthful, and it may be hurtful. We would not like it. When Robert worked with his rich dad, there was the same intensity of feedback. Because, why? He was poor, right? So he was probably not liking the feedback. But we should not block it. We should accept that information and do something about it. Robert mentioned this because today, many of us work in environments where feedback is not allowed, it's not forthright, or it's not honest. Feedback is not allowed, it's not forthright, and it's not honest. Many schools and businesses are afraid to tell you and I, to tell us what we need to hear for fear of being sued. Many friends and co-workers will speak behind your back because they lack the courage to speak it to your face, to tell the truth. This is not a healthy environment, according to Robert. It is a dysfunctional environment. A healthy environment is one that offers feedback. Now, we also need to learn about how to do constructive feedback so people take it. Now, life is constantly giving us priceless information if we are willing to receive it. And most of the time, the feedback is free. Every time you open your pay envelope, this is your paycheck, and see how much is lost to taxes, this, according to Robert, is feedback. The paycheck we get. If our creditors are calling and demanding payment, this is a feedback. If we are working harder and not earning enough, this is a feedback. It is a great information. The real world is trying to tell us something. So our standard of living is a great source of feedback. Our standard. If we are living in a home that makes us feel poor or make us feel rich, this is a feedback to us. The standard of living is simply the standard we feel most at home with. It does not mean being comfortable or being cheap or compromising. It is just the standard we feel most at home with. Standard of living means we are in love with and proud of our homes, our friends, our business, rather than envying someone else's standard of living. Again, this does not mean improving our standard of living by getting into debt. It is not about impressing others that we live, luxuriously. Robert is talking about improving our standard of living by first finding a great environment to learn. Again, environment, getting smarter, think and grow rich, and then growing richer. So again, finding a great environment to learn, getting smarter, then growing richer. Environment, think, and grow rich. Robert says we do not need to go to a great school to have a great job or read great books to receive some of the best information in the world. All we need to do is to look at the world around us and listen to the feedback. There are 3 important things to know about feedback. 3 important things, and I will discuss them here. First, we have the courage to be open to feedback. Okay? Constructive acceptance of the feedback that's coming to us. If we want to improve, we need to seek more feedback. And this is why coaches and mentors are important to successful people. If you look at the great athletes, they have coaches, they have mentors. If you think of, the richest men in the world, they didn't do it by themselves. Like Robert says, no man is an island. They have coaches and mentors. They have a team. Successful people seek more feedback. Successful people have systems. Successful people have teams. They do not do it themselves. It is never I. Second, offer feedback or advice only if it is asked for. And sometimes I'm guilty of this because I sometimes give feedback or advice even if it was not asked from me. So Robert says we need to offer feedback or advice only if it is asked for. Nothing infuriates people more than feedback they did not ask for. Even if it's feedback they know they need. Even if they know they need it. But they did not ask it, so we need to just keep it to ourselves. Zip our mouth. As that ancient bit of wisdom goes, don't teach pigs to sing. It wastes your time and it annoys the pig. Actually, this is the first time I've heard of this. Don't teach pigs to sing. It wastes your time and it annoys the pig.
It's the first time I've heard it too.
Yeah. Third important. Con men will tell you what you want to hear rather than tell you what you need to hear. Con men prey on the mentally uninformed and emotionally weak. They will tune in to where you are weak. They will attack us on our weaknesses, and they will craft a marketing message that matches that weakness. In the world of money, con men have gotten the masses to believe that diversification and living below your means is smart. Even though the smartest investors, such as Warren Buffett, they do not diversify and they do not recommend living below your means. Buffett lives at his standard of living, which is very different than Donald Trump's standard of living. So Warren Buffett lives in Omaha, Nebraska, whereas Mr. Donald Trump lives in New York City. The point is, both men are billionaires. Both men have the means to live anywhere in the world and at any standard of living they want to live at. They are happy where they are. So that is their standard of living. They are happy where they are. Most important questions are we living where we want to live at the standard of living we want to live at? Are we living where we want to live and at the standard of living where we want to live at? Are we diversifying and living below our means so that con men could live above their means? Are we associating with friends and people we want to be associated with? There's a saying, tell me who your friends are and I will tell you your bank account. Tell me who your friends are and I will tell you what's in your bank account. If you want to become healthier, if you want to become smarter, if we want to become richer, if we want to become happier, we need to pay closer attention to our own feedback. It is offering us the most important information in the world. Regardless of whether we like the feedback or not, whether the feedback hurts us or not, if we have the courage to listen to the feedback and learn from it, then we will succeed. So this is the end of the book, Increase Our Financial IQ. Let me know in the section below what you've learned. And we hope to see you on the next book brought to you. I'm thinking of Robert Kiyosaki. So stay tuned for more on the next episode of Rhea and Alka Show.
Amazing, Rhea. So, going back to what you were talking about, you were talking about the two women. One was a flight attendant, and both wanted to get into business, talking about entrepreneurship. So what came to mind is that, that is so true. So, both individuals, one wanted to get into a business, one wanted to become an entrepreneur. She doesn't like, you may not like a job, but you want to be an entrepreneur. But what does it take to be an entrepreneur? And so it's courage. It takes a lot of courage. I mean,
a lot of courage.
I can talk about my experience when I opened my gym. I had no experience of a gym industry. I had no idea as to what it takes to run a successful gym, but I opened it, and and there was so many hurdles. Now a lot of people also, you want to open, you want to get into some endeavor of whatever kind of business that may be for you, but sometimes also, and it's the mindset. So one is courage. You got to be courageous to take that leap to get into that endeavor that you want to get into. And also it's your mindset. So when I look back as to when I opened my studio, it was not the most easiest of things, because there were so many hurdles. There were so many roadblocks. I had to go through getting permits for each and everything of the construction process. I had to go to the city to get permits. I had to find contractors. But all of that, and that's why I say mindset, is because you know what, you could be on that journey of a business that you want to get into, but when for most people, when they are faced with that hurdle or that roadblock, they quit. Then if you're going to quit, then when you quit, you've given up on your goals. So that woman, she went on. So that is just, I just wanted to just bring that point, because one is courage. You have to have the courage, and the number two is the risk of losing, of stepping out of your job, right? Stepping out of your job and then getting into a business, whether it could be successful or not, but then that's a risk to take.
But the other thing too, right? On my opinion, I guess in my opinion, it's better to simultaneously do both, not to quit on your job, because
exactly do both.
Exactly. Because you're taking a risk by making your dream a reality, yet you still have, I don't know where your situation is, right? Where anyone's situation is, you could have family, you could have kids, and you need that money from your reliable job to
absolutely. Don't quit. Don't quit on your job.
But then in the end, simultaneously start your business. You can do both. It's not an and or, right? So then do that. And then because it's not always a straight line, Alka, just like you said, there's roadblocks, right? It could be a failure. But then if that thing is a failure, don't give up. It's telling you, it's giving you feedback. Maybe there was something that you did wrong that made it into a temporary, failure, a temporary setback. It's only temporary. And then you go think, what made you have to analyze where the error, where the setback was. And then we have to course correct. Either find coaches or mentors, or ask somebody who has done it successfully. Because if they've done it, we just need to figure out the recipe of their success. But never ever quit. Either go start your dream, and there's always going to be roadblocks, just what Alka said. We just need to learn how to pivot it. There is a saying, they said that if you have a setback, that is a time for a comeback.
There is, and that is so true. I think that's also in my book. Your setback is your comeback, your comeback struggle.
That's right.
But no, that is because you know what? Because those are your every step of your journey that you encounter, any journey in your business that you're encountering, there's always that stepping stones, and it's how we go through, how we step on the path. But also stepping on the path is to know that, you know, our mindset, what is it telling you? What's the feedback is it saying? And oftentimes, you know, listen to, it's almost like listen to your gut. Listen to what your gut says. Do you want to go for what that business may be for you? Like I said, you know, I had no experience of running a gym, but I did it anyway. I did it because I wanted to help other women. I wanted to do that, right? So what for the woman that you talked about, the hairstylist, she wanted to open her hair salon. And so listen to what are those stepping stones that you are encountering. Listen to what guides you to endeavor into that business of your choice, whether it's a hair salon, whether it's a gym, whatever the case may be for you. But listen, because you know, feedbacks is every time, and we just have to pay attention. And oftentimes Rhea, you know, we just don't pay attention to the signs. And you know, and that's where, you know, when I say take the risk, yeah, it's not just leaving your job, your primary job, because you know you don't want to do that, especially when you're first starting out in a business, right? You want to grow it, and so once it's grown, then absolutely, then you can leave your job, you know, if
Right.
that's it,
Once
that's
the
if you
business,
want to.
right. I agree. Once the business is making more money than your
Yes,
W-2, then
exactly.
and
Yeah.
once you're able to duplicate yourself, then that's, I think, the best time to do it. But you know, I
Hmm.
know of some entrepreneurs or some landlords even who have, 10 apartments, right? And then they still keep their job.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
think
know,
it's always
they,
good.
they
I
don't
think
have
it's
to
always
let go of their job
no, you
because
don't have to. No,
the
but
bank,
I think
right?
it's
But I
wise.
the bank, especially when you want to borrow money, they have a sheet, they have a paper that they need to check the box. And one of those boxes is dependable income. And the dependable income is your W-2, your regular job. So if you have a business, for example, if you want to buy properties and you have your W-2, then you actually fit the box right there. So what does that mean?
Oh,
If you fit the box, the bank is willing to lend you more money because there
oh,
are hard
okay.
times of in the business. There are hard times where your property is not rented, you have vacancy, or there are times when you could be hit with, a massive capital expenditure, right? Let's say the roof is shot and you have to replace, $20,000 roof, or your
Yeah.
heating broke down and you have to replace a 15,000, 10,000, heating
Mm,
equipment. So
mm-hmm.
you cannot get it from the cash flow of the property. The cash flow of the property could be $100.
Yeah.
So where are you relying to pour in that capital expenditure to your property? Where are you going to rely? From
Yeah.
your W-2, from your job. So that's why I said
Yeah.
that if you have a job and you have your business, go, continue doing it. Not until
Yeah.
you really like 10x your business and that you're willing to
Yeah.
let go, then yes, at that point in time. But for now,
Okay.
keep on plugging, keep on, doing the hard work,
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
continue to have your business. It's not
Exactly.
all
Do
or none.
do it simultaneous is always wise. Well, we have come to the end of another amazing conversation. This has been so amazing. So drop it in the chat. What were some of your highlights? When you know what you mentioned. What were some of your highlights? Let us know in the comments. Love to always listen to what you guys have to say and, share your thoughts. So we've come to the end of another amazing conversation, and we will see you at the same time tomorrow morning, and make the rest of the day the best of your day. Bye for now, guys.